Welcome everyone to the Donkey Sanctuary Memorial Day 2023. My name is Emma. I am a celebrant and a huge donkey fan, as I am sure you are all too. As well as those of us gathered here in person, a very warm welcome to those of you joining us online from around the world, live on our website and YouTube channel. The charity has such a huge worldwide connection, and we are so grateful to everyone that supports our work and our passion for these very special animals. We now invite Zoe Norris to officially open our Memorial Day and to say a few words.
Hello everybody. So good morning everyone. Welcome to Slade House Farm for our 29th Memorial Day service here at the Donkey Sanctuary. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Zoe Norris and I'm a director here at the Donkey Sanctuary. It's a great privilege to be here today and share in the memory of your loved ones. They had such a special bond with our sanctuary and our resident donkeys. And sadly, our chief executive, Marianne Steele, who many of you know, is poorly, and she also is unable to share this time with us today, and she sends her thoughts and wishes to you. So, like many of you, I consider the Donkey Sanctuary to be a wonderful healing place of reflection. Although this day is filled with emotion and potentially sadness, just being here can help bring to the fore memories of much happier times. All of your loved ones had a special connection with the sanctuary and found joy in visiting and seeing our wonderful donkeys. Although not here with us today, they're very much alive in the spirit of our sanctuary. The legacies of love they had for donkeys live on through the memories that we share of their time here. It's a legacy which deserves to be celebrated. So I invite you to honour their lasting impact by taking a moment to walk in their footsteps. Enjoy exploring the sanctuary as they did and seeing at first hand the result of your loved one's support. If not for their generosity and charity, many of the happy donkeys you'll see today could have had very different futures. And on behalf of us all at the sanctuary, we extend a very special thank you. Now, not all of us are here remembering people. After all, the sanctuary is just as special a place to visit for our four-legged friends. We're blessed to welcome dogs of all breeds, colours and sizes each day here, and they enrich our donkeys' lives by piquing their inquisitive natures. And I hope those of you remembering your pets today find comfort knowing the donkeys enjoyed their company too, even in fleeting moments of touching noses through the paddock fence. So I'd like to finish by personally thanking everyone for being here today. Today serves not just as a day of reflection, but of celebration. Your loved ones' lives are stitched into the very fabric of our charity, and we are so proud to have had them as our supporters and to have you here building on their charitable legacy.
Today is about remembrance, remembering those loved ones, both human and animal, that are no longer with us. Many whose names are inscribed on plaques, memory walls and boards around the sanctuary. It is not possible for any person or animal that we love to stay with us forever. Such is the circle of life. However, we can use the many fond memories we have of them to bring us comfort and to remind us what a difference they made to our lives. To remember is to keep those memories alive in our hearts and in our minds. Although loss is difficult and sad, it is better to focus on the joy those we loved brought to our lives rather than their loss. To celebrate a life is a wonderful way of commemorating what they meant to us. So on Memorial Day, let us take a few moments to remember those who have made a difference. We give our grateful and heartfelt thanks to all the staff and volunteers, past and present, at the Donkey Sanctuary for their care, time, and love shown to the donkeys. We give our grateful and heartfelt thanks to all the visitors, past and present, to the Donkey Sanctuary, who support the charity in all aspects of its very important work. And we give our grateful and heartfelt thanks to all the donkeys, animals and pets, past and present, who bring such love and joy to our lives. As part of our Memorial Day, we also give thanks for our retired adoption donkeys, Shocks and Cisco from Birmingham, and Tiny Tim and Henry from Manchester. We also, with joy, welcome Hector and Sam, our two new adoption donkeys in Manchester. It is, though, with a heavy heart that we share the sad news just a few weeks ago that retired adoption donkey Ripple passed away at the age of 17. Known for his affectionate and laid-back character, Ripple will be deeply missed by all who knew him. We invite Lisa Coles, a member of the team who cared for him at Packham Farm, to say a few words.
Hi, good morning. I'm Lisa. I work down at Packham, one of our outside farms. I'm a groom, so I'm much more used to mucking out donkeys than I am doing this, so bear with me. Ripple and his friend Billy were lovely donkeys. Ripple, as most of you probably know, spent 10 years of his life at Leeds and was one of our adoption donkeys. He was only with us at Packham for about a year, so I spoke to the girls at Leeds, and I'm able to share a few memories from there as well as memories from Packham. So a girl called Sarah looked after him, which I met Sarah, lovely, lovely girl. She looked after him for a lot of the time. And there's a lot of information already about Ripple. Some of you may know that in his life at Leeds, he was on CBBC on a programme called Something Special with Mr. Tumble. So he's quite famous. But yeah, also she was sharing that to get him fit for his job, she took him for walks. And there's a lot of stories about him only walking when he wanted to. And so she thought she would help him by walking him up some hills to build up some muscle. And she thought she was in for a long walk. She started walking and he got faster and faster. And by the top, she said she could hardly breathe to keep up with him. And then another day, sort of on the opposite side of that, another colleague of hers took him into their sensory garden and thought, Ripple would quite like that. And he stood still to look around, which was lovely. She went to move off again, and Ripple just would not budge. And so poor, I think Sammy, her name was stood there holding him, trying to encourage him, and he just wouldn't move. So Sarah went over, took the lead rope, and off he went. So poor Sammy was stood there thinking, what's wrong with me, Poor old Ripple, part of his health problems was he had breathing trouble, so he had to have an inhaler. And to get the donkeys to have the inhaler, we pop a mask over their noses. So Sarah was saying that when she used to put the mask on, there was a window nearby, so she'd put the mask on and he would almost admire himself in the reflection. So my memories of Ripple, they arrived at Packham, as I say, about a year ago, him and his friend Billy. The ramp came down, and the first thing that I saw was this big, friendly brown donkey, beautiful brown eyes, and a great big bottom lip. That was the thing you really noticed about him. His friend Billy, little grey donkey, well, medium-sized, full of character. He has a real sparkle in his eyes. So they arrived at Packham and they went to Cherry Barn, which is there for sort of Ripple's breathing trouble, and all that's back to the walking stories. To come in for his inhaler, he walked so slowly. And then Ripple did quite like the girls. So as soon as he saw the girls, straight back up the hill, no problem at all. So sadly, obviously the reason he came to Packham is because he had health issues. And I feel that his life in Leeds was probably a truer reflection of his character. I only really knew him as he sort of got poorlier. But I feel the great privilege of my job is looking after the older donkeys, and far from morbid, we try and keep it as lovely as possible. It's the last chapter of their lives, so I believe, you make it as happy and as lovely as possible. As Ripple got more poorly, he moved to our oldies unit, which to me is like a lovely, lovely place. And obviously his friend Billy moved with him. Billy has been his loyal companion all the way through his life and was with Ripple all the way through. The lovely thing about our oldies group, we give them, we do for all the groups, but it's just that particular end of life, one-to-one. We have, there's a footpath that runs through. So picking up on what Zoe was saying, we have lots of people like walking past with their dogs. So they get such a lot to look at, and they get that lovely sort of like the lovely sort of ending really, where they've got so much going on. We've got volunteers that spend so much time with the animals, giving them cuddles. One thing Ripple really enjoyed was it sounds funny, but having his eyes cleaned. So he'd come in, and as they get older, their eyes run. And he used to just rest his head, and I'd put like a warm swab on his eyes, and you could just feel him relaxing and really enjoying that type of thing. So I truly believe that his last days were happy days. As I say, his friend Billy has been his loyal companion and was with him all the way through and right up until the end. Now our focus obviously will shift to Billy. And all I can say is Billy is fine. Billy is doing really, really well. He's such a jolly little chap. He's into everything. Cupboards where he shouldn't be, he's a bit of a little monkey. And we hope that in time, like I say, he's doing fine. We really do keep a close eye on them because it was only a few weeks. So our focus is making sure he's eating, making sure his behaviour is exactly as it was when Ripple was alive. And we hope that he will maybe eventually make a new friend. He's probably a little bit on the old side to go to a home now. So we hope that his days at Packham will be happy and he'll find a new friend. I hope you've enjoyed listening to Ripple's memories, and I'm sure you've all got memories of donkeys of your own. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Ripple was very lucky to be cared for by you and everyone else at the end of his life. So let us take now a few moments to think of those, both human and animal, that we have lost and what they meant to us, how they made a difference to our lives, and how they will never be forgotten. If you have a faith, you may wish to use this quiet time for personal prayer. So let us be quiet, be calm, and reflect in our own thoughts. Thank you.
It was about a week after you had passed. I was sitting on my own, thinking of you, as I usually do, wishing you were home. When from the corner of my eye, a blur of brown and red, wings aflutter, a musical mutter from a beak upon its head. A little robin redbreast, perched on the windowsill, its little eyes are fixed on mine as it let out a small trill. Its song brought forward a memory. We were walking in the park. You pointed to a redbreast as the winter day got dark. The robin is a symbol, you said, of good luck and rebirth. I think I'd come back as one when it's time to leave this earth. And as the robin flew away and faded out of sight, I remembered what you'd wrote to me as you slowly lost your fight. I'm sorry I am leaving, but when you hear a robin sing, it's my way of saying I love you and I finally got my wings.
Thank you, Callum, for that beautiful poem. And now a blessing for everyone gathered here at Slade Farm, in person or joining us from a distance all around the world online. May we know that the love we shared with those we've lost remains. May we know that their spirit lives on around us. May we know that they are resting at peace. May we know and appreciate that life is fragile and precious. May we value every moment and make memories while we can. And may we know that life is a gift wrapped up in love. It has been a privilege to be with you all this morning. And for those of you here at the sanctuary in person, I look forward to meeting you, and I would really love to hear about your loved ones that you are remembering today. At the end of the ceremony, you will be invited to leave this area, and I will be in Russell Garden, where I would really love to meet with you if you felt able. The plaques and memory boards all around the sanctuary are cherished, and we will be thinking of all of those whose names sit alongside our donkeys every day in this special place. Never be afraid to talk about those that have gone before us, to share the stories of them and to say their names. That way, their memory lives on. Life will always be limited, but love and memory will always remain. Our loved ones leave behind a light that will never dim or fade. It's kept bright by the love we feel and the memories we made. It can warm us like a candle's glow and help bring comfort too. And no matter where you go, you'll find it's always close to you. And in the darker times, remember, in our hearts, their light is strong. So every time we think of them, their memory shines on. Thank you and good morning.